Anyway,
he doesn't have to get some testicle either.
don't have to fucking get testicle.
Anyway,
so Josh, how's your day?
tired.
Okay, this has been a nice podcast. Goodbye, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess
Josh, what
bye.
do you want to? Josh, you
What?
bring the first topic.
Yeah, okay. The first topic is Scout waking me up at 10 in the morning.
Yeah, so what the fuck are you doing sleeping at 10 in the goddamn morning? When you said you went to bed at 3, that is 7 hours of sleep.
Yeah, Scott, I got 2 hours of sleep last night.
Yes.
Or the night before. That's what I'm doing asleep at 10 in the morning. Okay?
Well, you know what? You're wrong.
I don't know how I'm wrong, but okay. If it makes you feel better, I'll say okay.
Okay.
If it helps any, Josh, I'm on your side here.
You're just on Josh's side because fuck me.
Are you on my side because you're nationwide?
I'm not an insurance company, no.
Oh, okay. I just had to ask, okay?
Just had
I'm
to ask.
like insurance companies are too nice to be me.
That's fair. If you're working for an insurance company, I feel like you just tell somebody, okay, I'm going to be honest. I feel like you drive like an asshole. I don't want to insure you.
I wonder, which company used to have like the OBD plugin where it would record how you drive?
Every cheap one.
As I thought like Geico or Progressive did that.
Those are both technically cheap options.
Well, they're kind of the mainline options, so I assume they weren't cheap. But anyway,
Geico's advertising is literally just, hey, we're cheaper than everybody else. Call us and find out.
Say 15% or more on car insurance.
But I wonder if they were ever like, take a look at your data and be like, this dude is the biggest jackass I've ever seen. You are literally the scourge of American highways. You should not be allowed to drive.
I want you to imagine that any form of company who ever gets a hold of your data like that, or like just like anything like that, they at some point, if they decide to, they can literally just go in and just be like, "Oh, look at this idiot."
Just be like, the only way we could probably insure you and not lose money is to charge you like $300 a month for car insurance, and that's only on liability. I feel like that's like
pretty sure it's most insurance companies because it's something like to throw at young insured people like under 25.
I guess.
And it probably died off in popularity because it's not needed now. My truck, as part of its thing that Toyota does, it literally emailed me and said, hey, you're a good driver. Do you want to save money on insurance?
Really?
Yes, my truck tracks my driving.
Your truck advertises to you.
Not sure.
Did it recommend a specific insurance company?
Yes.
So it advertises to you.
But it specifically is just like, hey, based on the driving data we have gathered on you, we can point you to this insurance company and they will probably save you money by giving you like a good driver discount or whatever. Which makes me think that the truck's not very good at tracking how I drive because it thought I was a good driver.
I was going to say, I've seen how you drive. I've seen people drive worse than you. And I will definitely say you are not the worst driver I have seen. I wouldn't go as far as saying that you are a god tier saint of a driver.
Okay, I spent the last year in DC. Pretty much everyone around here, it drives frustratingly slow and non-aggressive, with the exception of like, Honda Civic drivers and the occasional Nissan Altima. But, like I hate driving around town after deployment here.
You know why that is? Most people around here aren't in any real form of rush. Like that's all there is to it.
I feel like it's the same in DC though. It's the flow of traffic is different. Everybody drives like they've got someplace to be 10 minutes ago.
Well, that's the thing, Scott. when you're in a city, a lot of people drive like that as well because of the fact that you also usually have a much further distance to go. Like, it could technically be like if you went like straight through like any form of building and all that, it could only be like a couple miles away. But the fact that you're in a city just like that, you have to jump through about 100 different loops to get there.
Oh
So
yeah.
most people will start driving like psychopaths just to get to where they need to be in an actual like reasonable amount of time.
Oh yeah,
With
absolutely.
that said, around here, there's not a whole lot of that. So what do you get instead? You get people who are like, well, it literally takes me 15 minutes to get to the other side of town. I can take my time. That's all there is to it.
Regularly, the drive to work was anywhere from 10 to 15 miles, right? And it would generally take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to get there.
That's what I mean. So it like when you consider that, even like with people driving like they have places that they need to get to 10 minutes ago, that's why, because it takes so much longer to get there. There's no real reason to drive something like that around here because, like I said, you can literally get to the other side of town in 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, depending on how many lights you get stopped at. Like, that's all there is to it.
But one thing I did like about there is that like speed limits were a suggestion. Actually, most traffic laws were a suggestion. You know, it's
I've
like
also
you're
heard
going
that-
through construction on the highway. And they've got signs for 40 miles an hour. People are actively working out there. You are blowing past at 75, 80 miles an hour because you're just following traffic. If you were going the speed limit, you would be impeding traffic far more.
I think that's also just a big city thing because, at least when I was, or at least when I was still working with Vic, that's what they were saying about Chicago, that like everybody drives like fucking 10 over the speed limit at least. And like
Yes.
people are just all over the place all the time, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. And you just follow it because if you don't, you're going to cause more issues than you would if you're actually doing regular like traffic laws. With that said, though, from my understanding, when you get into like suburbia, then it becomes much more normalized and start driving like a normal person again. But like in any form of place that has like busy amounts of traffic, you pretty much ignore actual traffic laws and just follow whatever everyone else is doing. Because if you don't, like I said, you're going to run into more issues than you would if you didn't.
That and people in the big city, I don't know if this goes across like the board, but you know when you watch like bad driver compilations and shit like that and you've never personally seen it, I've personally seen that only in DC. For example, like you occasionally you'll see a video online where it's like a car has a blown tire and they're driving along just on the rim, they're kicking up fucking sparks and shit like that. Not only have I seen that in real life, myself personally, I've seen it several times. Like
Okay.
it's
was
a
gonna
thing that
say-
happens.
Yeah, keep in mind as well, though, the population difference is also like less than 100,000 versus literally in the millions in a metropolitan area.
Okay,
Like,
fair.
like it is drastically more likely that you're gonna find like crazy people like that. With that said, as well, though, being that everybody around there drives like a lunatic because they're all driving, pretty much ignoring all traffic laws, it's even more likely to happen.
Yep.
I'm not shit talking anybody who actually like lives and drives like that in those areas. I get it. But at the same time, like if you go into literally anywhere that has a population of like 100,000 or less, it is a massive juxtaposition of how people drive.
That's a big word. I don't
Yes.
remember what that means. I
Look
think
it
it's
up.
like an inverse or some shit.
More or less, yeah.
You could always ask your wiretap.
No.
Hey Alexa.
So,
My word to use as well.
I'm gonna start at the bottom of the list that I made.
Kind of like platitudinous.
Platitude. What is that?
It's just a word from SpongeBob. I don't even think it actually has a meaning.
So I'm going to start at the bottom of the list here of
I'll
the
start at the
things we
bottom of
like.
your list.
What?
I'll start at the bottom of your list.
Oh. You make me feel uncomfortable.
It is
Oh.
an actual word.
I was about to say, holy fuck, it is actually a word.
What does it mean?
Platitudinous. Used to often to be interesting or thoughtful. Hackney-eyed. Yeah.
Okay.
Overworked, overused, cliche. Okay. I never realized that was an actual word. I just heard it in SpongeBob, and I'm like, that is a really dumb word. I'm using it.
I love it.
So it's just a really, really fancy, long way of saying something's overused.
So, Scott,
Yes.
your platitudinous.
My platitudinous
No,
is
you are.
is
You are overused. You're cliche.
oh. Is that why my profile picture is Dream?
Probably.
Yeah. All right, things we like. This past week edition. Let's go.
I like it when I actually get sleep.
That shit's overrated, but I totally get that. So, yeah, I was doing the night shift over the past year, and God, it was fucking miserable.
Like the part that I absolutely hate, it's like if I look at myself in the mirror, I just have massive fucking bags under my eyes. Even if I get like 8 hours of sleep, I don't know why. It's just like I can feel wide awake or whatever, and I'll just have like these big old fucking saggy bags under my eyes. I'm like, I got like 9 hours of sleep. Why do I still look like I haven't slept in about 8 years?
It will take time. You will get used to it.
I'm relatively used to it now. Like I can go to bed in the middle of the day, not a problem if I feel tired. It's just I just look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I look like I haven't slept in over a week. I
Yep.
hate this.
No, it's the restful sleep thing. So I could totally sleep in the middle of the day. That's no problem. I still do it. But as I take naps in the middle of the day. However, it took a long time for me to actually get to the point where I was having restful sleep. Like I was going as far as like listening to doing meditation before sleep and other dumb shit, right? Drinking fancy teas and popping melatonin and stuff like that, just to fucking remember what the hell REM sleep is like, you know?
I've had REM sleep before. Like or I shouldn't. Is it REM sleep that you lucid dream in, or is that non-REM?
I thought that was REM sleep, or
Because I've lucidly dreamt, like I've done that before, and I recognized that I was, and as soon as I recognized it, I immediately woke up. But I've done it.
oh, that's disappointing.
That's always how it goes for me. It's like as soon as I'm like, wait a minute, I can control shit. I wake up and I'm like, okay, I'll just go fuck myself.
Things that I like are I got complimented by
Impossible.
by Jaden's mom. Jaden's mom is in town, and she knows that I've been pretty much lifting every day for the past year, and this is the first time she's seen me in over a year. And she actually made a comment, "Holy shit, you actually look bigger." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you. Somebody said something."
It's
She might have been.
impossible. Men don't ever get compliments. It's a fact.
I know. It
She's
was so
breaking
nice.
societal norms.
He's breaking societal norms. Scott's over the moon. He's the only man who has ever gotten a compliment in the last 10 years. Scott, hold on to that, and that will become your entire life's motif.
I mean, that's legitimately a thing for men in today's society. If they catch one comment, it sticks with them for like ever.
Yeah, back when I used to work at Shopko, one of my coworkers, an older lady in her middle ages, I think her name was Cheryl. She said, or at the time I was going to the gym, she's like, "Oh man, you look like you lost a lot of weight." And I still think about that. That's the only thing I really think about from that job. That was the only. It's like that, and then I also at one point had an old lady compliment me, saying that I looked good for a young buck, and I'm like,
She
Okay,
reaches
thank
behind
you.
the counter and squeezes your ass.
Those are the only 2 compliments I ever got, and I'm like, it's kind of fitting that they're both from old people because old people don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, man, if anybody even remotely close to my age said anything, I probably would have just like curled up into a fetal position and started crying. Just
Go
because I wouldn't
figure.
know what to do. Just because wouldn't know what to do. Like if it's an old
You're
person, it's like you
right.
just say thanks and then you move on. And if it's like somebody like a girl actually your age who then compliments you, it's like I don't know what to do.
Exactly. No, it's
Do I,
like
do I ask you out or do I just keep going and act like it didn't happen?
like the compliment was from Jade's mom, which is old enough to be my mom, right?
Yeah, so it's like you
And
just say
that's like
thanks
one
and move
thing.
on. Yeah.
But I don't know how I would react if someone close to my age said it. Especially an attractive woman, you know? I mean, like if it was a fucking whale, right? We're talking like Walmart Predator at 25. You know, that'd be like oh, thank you. And then just like a small shiver down my spine.
Well, that's just it. It's like if it's somebody that you actually like who's saying it to you, it has a completely different meaning because it's like my biggest thing is like I'll just sit there and be like, eh.
A genuine compliment from your crush sort of thing. Brain shuts down.
Oh no, to put it simply, it's I could be wrong, but I feel like it's also like this for a lot of people. It's like if you get a compliment from somebody that you even remotely like, it's like you just get fucking stun locked. You just sit there like and they're like, oh, okay, you're retarded. Okay, I got you.
And you just scare them off.
It's like no, that's not even supposed to be the intention. It's more or less just the fact that I legitimately don't even know how to react to this. I'm sorry. I'm just socially awkward to begin with.
John, I could see you being surrounded by like a horde of women, getting compliments left and right, taking them all in stride and not realizing the opportunities you've missed. Like
Yeah, I could see that. I definitely am a front runner for levels of density to fight like an anime protagonist.
it's like
Fun fact for you.
I have a
Back when
memory of going out to
what's
Paradiso,
that?
right? And you are drinking with a bunch of women. This is one of the times where I was like sending drinks over to your table. If you remember this, I was sending margaritas over to your table. It just happened to be a date night, right?
I
And
apologize. I got food.
okay, and it just happened to be a date night. And I'm sending drinks over to your table, and you're sitting there with a bunch of pretty women. And I feel like there were so many missed opportunities for you. Maybe not even in like the sexual sense where you could have just gone out and banged them later, but like you could have a strong female friends group and you did not utilize that. You did not take that opportunity.
I wouldn't have even realized it was an opportunity. Obviously,
Ex-
I didn't realize.
Exactly.
So another fun fact for you when I used to work at Shopko. One of the girls I used to work with who was around my age, me and her we talked a whole lot, and we were good friends and all that. I don't remember exactly what she said, but she pretty much just said something that like laid it on really fucking thick. I went home later that day, and my dad was like, "Do you not like her?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "She was straight up just hitting on you," and I'm like, "Oh, well, fuck. That was the last day I was gonna see her because we closed."
Oh, Josh.
I ended up seeing her like a month later, and she had it. Or I saw her like a few months later, and she was dating somebody else at the time, and I'm like, man,
You missed out. You did.
oh yeah, you miss every shot you don't take, and I don't know how to shoot shots.
I don't
love
even
it.
know when there's an opportunity to. Too dense for that shit.
You see, anytime somebody says hi, you just hand them a card with your phone number on it and say, "Call me." That's
This
the
brought
brain play.
this conversation brought another thought to mind that I don't have written down. So, I absolutely want to go to my 10-year reunion for high school just to see how the great have fallen. That is my main goal. I want to see all like the athletes, the jocks that used to make fun of all of us and shit like that. Turns out that they're like fat alcoholic dads now. I want to see
Oh.
that.
A lot of the people that you expected to go to college did.
Yep.
And from my understanding are generally doing pretty all right.
No, that's not what I want to hear.
Yeah,
I want their entire lives shattered.
No, I'm talking about the people that you expect like would have gone to college. Like, you know, the more knowledgeable kids and the people that are like, okay, yeah, he's gonna go and be like a doctor or some shit. A lot of them ended up going pretty much exactly where you expected. A lot of the jocks, the only one that I know of or I only know of one.
Don't use last names.
I'm not even gonna say first names. And I know that he wanted to get into aerospace, and I think he went into aerospace, and that was it. Like,
well, you can use first names. Like, I want to know who this is.
Sam.
Oh, yes. Yes, I have a face for that, too.
That is the only one that I know ended up having something happen to him, and that's just because of, well, his mom, funnily enough.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's like, I don't know what the fuck happened to any of the rest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think. It's like there's a couple of classmates that I still know outside of the core friends group, and most of which have moved away and live unfulfilling lives. You know?
I'm not even going to say a name because I feel like I don't need to, but I know that one of them is a drag queen.
Yep. Nope, you don't need to say that name. You know what? They're living their best life, I hope.
That's what they want to do. Go for it. I'm all for it. Just don't expect me to sit there and be ogling. That's all there's to it.
Are you ready for 6 months of Christmas music, John?
I'm probably not going to be paying attention to any of it.
Why not?
I don't go anywhere that plays music, really.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and you want to go to fucking
John.
Sam's Club later today.
I'll start playing Christmas music every time that you and Keaton come in.
I will tell Aaron to take that speaker back.
I'll bring my own.
Exactly.
It'll always be the exact same song too. It's got to be Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You," but the version that just but the one that gets progressively slower as it goes on too. So it just sounds like an absolute nightmare by the end of it.
I'm thinking like, remember we just watched Scary Movie 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was an advertisement on the TV for like hip hop remixes, like shitty hip hop remixes of all of the Christmas songs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You need to play those.
If I had
like
access,
all I want for Christmas is the charges dropped.
If I had access, I would say sure. What I need you to do, Scott, is I need you to start making some hip hop remixes of like some old fashioned or like all of the well-known Christmas songs, and we'll go from there.
I've thought about that. Like, if I started rapping, would I just sound like fucking Wiz Khalifa but white with the Midwestern accent?
So, first of all, what would your rapper name be?
What would my rapper name be?
Yeah. You go in the young route, the lil route.
Yeah, I'm thinking like for stereotypical purposes, it'd have to be Little.
The Lil?
Just be like Little Dicky, right? So
isn't Lil Dicky already a rapper?
Is it? I was thinking like Adam Sandler's like Little Nicky, right?
Yeah, there's a Lil Dicky.
God damn it.
David Andrew Bird, better known by his stage name Lil Dicky, is an American rapper, comedian, and actor. So it seems like he just 100% took up the exact idea that you had.
Son of a bitch. Well, let's pay an homage to the profile picture, Little Dreamy.
They're a little dreamy.
Little Dreamy. and I rap about Minecraft.
There is a Lil Dreamy, but it seems like this person is like a SoundCloud rapper, so don't have to worry too much.
Exactly, next to no following.
They could blow up before you do.
You never know.
Make a song called Freddy Krueger. You're already done.
Josh, what would your white rapper name be?
I'd be Big Ounce.
Big Ounce.
Yeah. Thought about
Is
this
that-
before.
Is this name taken?
I don't know. If it is, then
Like I gotta find out here.
it looks like another SoundCloud rapper, so
Okay, you're just as safe as I am.
yeah.
Now, John.
Also, it seems to be that Big Ounce is a prairie dog owned by the Urban Rescue Ranch.
Oh,
Anyways, moving on.
so you're gonna be rapping about like good causes, right?
Oh no, it's gonna be like your typical rap shit, but it's gonna be like oddly wholesome and not about just fucking bitches. So it'll be like, yeah, I pulled out my Glock, yeah, and then I hugged my mom.
Did the laundry before my wife got home. Yeah.
It said, thanks, honey. I said, yeah. That's what you get, bitch. And then I made her dinner. It's gonna be it's also gonna be like in the style of like very shittily done Tupac as well.
Like, I've never listened to Tupac, so I wouldn't know what shitty Tupac sounds like.
Well, when you get a chance, go ahead, listen to some Tupac, and then just imagine like a white dude doing a really intentionally bad impression. Boom.
Is like, you know, both my parents are boomers, so I grew up on like 60s classics and 80s hair hair rock, right? So that's the shit that I know. Rap has not been any part of my music taste until like the last 5 to 10 years.
I guess let me reiterate. It wouldn't be specifically just Tupac. It would be kind of like taking the like style of like old rappers like Tupac, Notorious B.I.G., fuck, not D.I.G. Snoop Dogg, like stuff like that, like old like 90s rap. And I would be bringing that back, but it would all just be like really wholesome, not talking about like the struggles about how he got to where he is.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
John, what's your white rapper name?
No clue.
Little Microchip. Calling it.
I was gonna say Asian Zing, so that's probably better.
That's wonderful.
See, I'm a Buffalo Wild Wings sauce now.
That is wonderful.
It works out because you're also. It's like if anybody ever asks, you can say that you're just enough Asian to say that it adds a zing, and that's it. Even though absolutely none of the music that you produce with that name would have even anything like remotely Asian sounding in it. Like absolutely like no ties to Asia or anything. It's like the most like trashy like hardcore gangster rap straight out of fucking like LA mid 2000s we're talking.
Oof.
Like we're talking straight DMX. And then your name is just Asian Zing.
Or should it be like an obnoxious mixture of the two where it is early 2000s LA rap, but like all the beats and the hi-hats and shit like that, the entire music track is all done with typical Asian instruments, you know?
I was gonna say, like, you just take like one of those like really obnoxious and very stereotypical like Oriental sounding like backing tracks that just like loops every 15 seconds and just rap over that.
I love the thought of, I imagine John standing on a stage with a microphone, just fucking tearing it up, dropping the rhymes, right? and there's just this girl in a kimono behind him just tearing it up on a fucking shamisen.
Oh, there's a girl in a kimono behind him just throwing it back for a real one. He gets actually banned from Japan because he's just disrespecting their culture so much with it.
He has to make a music video in the suicide forest on top of a dead body.
He's called
literally
Logan.
Standing on a dead body while recording this.
The song is just called Logan.
I'm the most boring one here. Why do I get the interesting scenarios?
Because that's why, again, it's just the fact that you're the most boring person, so for you to do like the most bombastic thing would be the funniest. Period.
That would be great. Like, you would expect some Logan Paul shit out of me. No, you doing Logan Paul shit would be earth-shattering. It would actually snow in hell.
Either that, or it would go the exact opposite route, and he pretty much just does cover of like he just does like Eminem covers. Like, just every single Eminem song that has ever been released, he just does a cover of it. It's got to be either super hard in one way, or it's got to be like the most lazy, lame duck stuff that you just find on SoundCloud, period. There's like no in between.
He needs to be rapping like White Trash Party while in like a suit and tie in a business place or something like that, or maybe in a church. In a super formal environment, but just the trashy.
Rapping for Jesus.
Yep. Rapping for Jesus. Oh, what's that fucking video of I seen it many years ago. It was an old woman doing like some sort of rap talking about fucking Jesus and shit.
It's called Rapping for Jesus.
Yeah, it was so fucking wholesome.
No, there's actually one called Rapping for Jesus. If you get a chance to look it up, that's probably what you're thinking of.
Okay.
It's a pastor and his wife that are doing it.
Yep.
And they just straight up drop the N-word in here. You're like,
I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Hold up. I get that this is trying to be wholesome and all that. That doesn't mean you just drop an N-word just like casually.
Ma'am, you can't do that.
Sir, this isn't Arby's. No, I absolutely love Rapping for Jesus. It's when it comes to really goofy, memey songs and stuff like that, that's near the top of my list.
John, topic, go.
Have none. You go.
Okay, is Russia gonna nuke us or not? Are we gonna have a Mad Max dystopian future? And will it be followed by a subsequent zombie apocalypse courtesy of China? With the next COVID fucking outbreak.
Probably not, because
no.
As soon as one party fires a nuke, pretty much everyone's gonna start firing nukes. So it's either everyone dies or no one dies. That's all there is to it. It's mutually assured destruction.
Is that I'm trying to keep up with the news. I don't do a very good job, but it really seems like Ukraine is kicking fucking Russia's teeth in. And it's wonderful. I love it is an inaction underdog story. And Russia was like, oh, we absolutely consider the option of using nukes, and it's like, I don't know if they're actually going to use that because they're surrounded by countries with nukes.
No, I was going to say the biggest thing is about that is, again, it's very much so a nuke mutually assured destruction type of thing. If one person launches a nuke, like in any form of hostile demeanor, immediately there's going to be about 7 follow-up nukes, like guaranteed.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where it's like, unless if you're really going with the mindset of, well, if I'm going to go out, I might as well go out with a bang, there is no reason to do it, because it is just going to be a bad time for everyone involved.
It's like, I could totally see North Korea pulling that shit, but...
Yeah, but listen, though, our great grand leader, Kim Jong-un, We got some great bread loaf here, okay?
I feel like the Russians are a little bit more reasonable than the North Koreans. Because it's not just, I don't know. I feel like Russia's less of a tyrannical dictatorship. And more of a, they've had their teeth kicked in enough times to know that maybe we should think twice about doing this.
I was gonna say, I think it's more or less just Putin recognizes the fact that it would probably just like that something like that would actually just lead to mutually assured destruction as
Yep.
opposed to like an actual winner.
So with the follow-up, I like to daydream about like a Mad Max future / like zombie apocalypse because that's always a fun thing to fucking daydream about is a zombie apocalypse. Like where would I be in the zombie apocalypse, right? Aside from
Feet under.
probably dead.
Bullet in my head
Yeah, probably dead.
from
Right.
myself.
John, I would love to think I would just raid your family for all of their guns and food that your dad has fucking stashed in the basement, but I also know that I'd probably be killed within 100 yards. I could totally see your dad like on a fucking crow's nest on the roof, just sniping everything that moves. You'd be up there with him. Your little Asian mother is like climbing the ladder with like belts of ammunition hanging around her neck, right?
And Lupia.
Yeah, I love it. She's got a fucking ammo can in one hand and a plate of lumpia in the other. Just fucking whistling a tune as she's walking her ass up to the fucking crow's nest. John, I brought you lunch and more ammunition.
Sits down the plate. Have fun. Just walk back down. Your mom's so wholesome.
Your mom is so wholesome.
No, in all honesty, I feel like if there was like an apocalyptic type of scenario from whatever situation, where we are, one of two things would happen. Either it would be absolute pandemonium because we're getting nuked.
Yep.
Or most people around here probably wouldn't even recognize what's actually happening until like, oh, by the way, LA has become literally just rubble because everyone is just killing each other.
There would be cheering in the streets over that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, I feel like by the point that it's either everyone would be panicking and going like all out, true like end of the world scenario around here because we're getting nuked, or nobody would even recognize what's actually going on until it's like, oh, Chicago's gone, LA's gone,
Yeah.
New York's gone.
Well,
Do we just keep doing what we're doing? I guess.
I feel like with the exception of disruption in the supply chain, like life would probably go on fairly similarly.
Yeah.
Because everyone is armed here.
And no one gives a fuck around here.
Exactly. According to the How to Survive a Nuclear Apocalypse book that I have that was written in the 80s, like during the Cold War. According to that, the town and like the eastern half of the state is going to get fucking wiped off the map because that's where they used to have, that's where they still have all the fucking silos. Not that there's anything in them anymore.
That's what I mean.
So
either people would be panicking because of that, or nobody would even recognize what's going on.
Yep.
Or care.
Is that I was watching a documentary. It was I forget where exactly this
It would
was.
just
I
be COVID
really feel
too.
like it was in Montana.
I was
But
gonna say real quick, Scott, it would just be COVID too. We'd just run out of toilet paper and paper towels and stuff.
yep,
Nothing else.
all the hand sanitizer and toilet paper is just gone. But no, I was watching this documentary and I feel like it was in Montana, but I also feel like that was wrong. Where now I'm a huge sucker for like the tiny houses and like off-grid movements and stuff. I really like that shit. But people they bought out it was like a square mile of just ammunition silos, right? Or not silos, they were bunkers. And they're basically just concrete Quonsets. And what they were doing is that they were selling them out individually as residences. And it's like, I could totally see people around here doing shit like that.
Yeah, you're gonna be one of them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
If
I'd love that.
if some dude was like, by the way, I just bought this nuclear silo. I'm gonna be selling it. I'm gonna be selling it for rent so that you can live.
Mm-hmm.
I could 100% see you just like buying one without even like thinking about how much it is
Yep.
or how much space you get.
Come to find out, you have like a whole underground football field and you don't know what to fucking do with the whole thing.
You're not allowed to see the light of day between certain hours because of patrols and shit.
Yep. And well, I wonder if you could do like some sort of Fallout-esque community in one of these silos, because they're fucking huge. They are an actual underground facility.
Probably.
I know they are.
Well, I'm talking about like you could probably do that. Just why would you want to?
I don't know.
I feel like that would be very miserable.
That would probably be miserable, just like the Fallout experience or experiments, but conducted by normal people as opposed to a giant conglomerate. Just fill a fucking
100%.
silo with 99 women and one man.
Put it simply, it's one of those situations where I feel like the most likely course of action is whomever owns the silo would probably end up doing it instead of some form of large conglomerate.
Yep. I like that.
That's what I mean. It's like, so probably not the best idea. Could be wrong. I probably am wrong. Who knows?
Is that I imagine like I've got some family where like my family's old enough. I still have relatives that fought in Vietnam, right?
Mhm.
And is like I know a bunch of them would be fucking thrilled and go like full Vietnam War mode, where it's like they're
hiding in the trees.
They're hiding in the trees. They're fucking booby trapping shit. They've got fucking tunnels underneath the double wide, right? There is truth to that too. And just like, yeah, just some fucking stupid fucking dystopian shit, because they kind of went that way when the first COVID hit, right? Where they went for like full world is ending mode, stocked up. They're part of the reason why there was a toilet paper shortage. And it was like they bought all the guns they could, all the fucking canned beans and rice that they absolutely could. And now they're fucking pissed because they spent so much money on shit that they're not eating or using, and then COVID just kind of petered out. They expected like full on like riots and raiding parties.
So at least the way I kind of look at it, I feel like the people who were preppers to begin with were kind of waiting for something like COVID to happen so they could be like, "Ha, I was right," and then immediately go full apocalypse mode. And then when that didn't actually end up happening like that, they were stuck there just like, "Wait, what do you mean? It was supposed to happen. I mean, it was like all bad and stuff. Well, why are we going back to life as is? It's all bad, isn't it?" And it's like, no, sorry, fam. You just wasted thousands of dollars for no fucking reason at all.
Yep. They wanted the validation.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is kind of one thing that surprised me, is that when I went to DC, COVID was kind of still in full swing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I made it to DC, and all of my leadership is like full fucking COVID scared mode, right? Like we got COVID tested when we got on the planes. We were COVID tested when we got off the planes. We were COVID tested again when we finally made it to okay, correction. So we got tested before we got on the planes. Once we got off the planes in Texas, tested again when we got on the planes in Texas, tested again when we got off the planes in DC, right? Like they're this fucking nuts. I mean, like you will get screamed at if you're not wearing your mask while on the toilet. Sort of shit. Don't ask me how they know. Anyway, make it to DC, go out into town, and nobody cares. Made it to DC, and it's like probably better half than the general public didn't give a shit. They were totally fucking over it. And it's like I'm walking around the monuments and nobody's wearing a mask. Everybody's like out and about having a good time. You know, people are driving past on their little rent-a-scooters and shit like that. Like it was a totally normal day, kind of like COVID didn't exist. And then you see, you know, kind of the occasional oddball wearing their mask, right? Is that they were only really quote unquote required in closed spaces. And most of the time that wasn't enforced.
Yeah.
And it took about 2 fucking weeks for a whole whopping 2 weeks for leadership to get their head out of their ass and stop giving a shit about COVID. Because even though they shoehorned all of us into getting vaccinated, they were still constantly testing us. And yeah, gave it fucking 2 weeks in DC, and then fucking leadership forgot COVID was a thing.
That's about right, honestly.
Yeah, it was fucking dumb.
It's like the people who really cared about it, like they made sure that everybody knew that they cared about it, and then pretty much everyone else, like it felt like a month or like a couple months after, they were just like, "Lamau, what?"
Yeah, and it's like through the whole fucking pandemic, I couldn't even manage to get a goddamn cold. You see people like dropping out left and right, you know, and you always hear stories of, oh, my cousin's uncle died or whatever else, right? And you know, all these sad stories, but like nobody that I personally knew, either for the most part, nobody that I personally knew got COVID. Nobody that I personally knew died of COVID.
Pretty sure pretty much all my family, everyone who lives in my house, got like the last wave of COVID, like back in like March or whatever. Like the one that like kind of was like, oh, by the way, this is another strain, and then like it seemed like half the fucking population like got randomly sick, and then it was like, oh, we're fine.
Yeah, the Omicron variant.
Yeah. Outside of that though, nothing.
Yeah. So like when the Omicron variant hit DC, everybody freaked out for a split fucking second. A bunch of people got sick with, it seemed like a cold, but none of us wanted to get tested because we're kind of on a rigorous schedule and a very strict schedule. And if one team goes down, a team that had already run their shift gets fucked and has to go back on. Right? They even had us on 48-hour shifts. And everyone got sick with something, but everybody was hanging around each other, right? But absolutely nobody got tested because they didn't want another team to get fucked over. Literally nobody got tested.
I was gonna say, for at least around here at the time, it more or less seemed like a bunch of people got sick, but everyone's like, oh, it's just a cold. So a lot of people just kept going about their lives until it's like, oh god, this might not be a cold. I think it might be the flu. And then they would like take a couple of days off of work. Then everyone else got sick. They'd be like, all right, I'm back.
Yep.
Oh, everyone else is sick too. Well, I'm just gonna go back to work then. Like that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, it's like my entire team got sick all at the same time. And my sergeant, we all got basically the same shit, right? Is that it was basically a cold. We got sniffles, our heads felt stuffed, we kind of felt a little bit miserable and lethargic and shit like that, and then like gave it 2 days and it was over. I was absolutely fine because, you know, I was popping Dayquil like it was candy, and it was great.
As one does.
As one does. And that was the end of that. And then all of a sudden in DC, it just fucking disappeared again. I was kind of perturbed though, because like my favorite place to go in DC for Chinese food, they started requiring during the Omicron deal, just for that hot minute, they started requiring you to show your vaccination records. I was a little offended by that, and was like, man, I just want to go in and eat my fucking fried cat. Okay, leave me alone. But I'm guessing it had even a less of an impact back home here.
Yeah, like I said, there wasn't a whole lot that really happened until the Omicron variant, and then by the time that people realized, oh wait, this might be COVID, it was already gone.
Mm-hmm.
It just sounds really fucked, but it's true. It's like, wait a minute, this might be COVID. Oh, everyone already got it.
Exactly.
All right. I guess let's carry on then. And then we all carried on. And then you came back to us. Smile.
Does COVID finally not exist anymore? Did they quit
Uh,
requiring it on planes and shit?
I honestly don't know. I don't keep up with that.
As I know, Japan still fucking shut down over it. But also, like, Japan is exclusively elderly people.
Like I said, I legitimately don't know. I haven't been keeping up with it mainly because I pretty much don't leave my house other than to go to work.
Yeah.
Cause cake shift.
Yay. Yeah.
Fucking envy. John saved me.
I noticed I like never went out during the day. Is that when I went out during the day, it was well planned and it was on a day off sort of shit. But I would normally sleep from, let's say, 8 until mid afternoon. So like when I went out, it was well planned. I slept ahead of time, and I would only go out to see monuments or go to my favorite Chinese place, uh, or if I was doing some like special training, like my sergeant and I were doing ruck marches, training up for this Norwegian ruck march shit, and that was fucking miserable.
It's more or less like I wake up at 7 o'clock or like 7 p.m. So it's like I can go somewhere if I want to.
Mhm. You've got like no time to do
But
it, really.
it's
Not,
like,
not that you had any reason to go.
yeah, it's like I wake up at like 7 p.m. So it's like, great, I can go out and do something. I only have a couple hours to go do it. If there's even anything I really want to do. And then it's like, okay, or I can go after I get off work. But when I get off work, I go to the gym for an hour and then I come home and immediately pass out. So it's like I get the little bit of outside time that I've been at least setting aside out of the way. But hopefully if/when I get finally moved back over to a day shift, which is probably not gonna be for a while, but whenever it hopefully happens, I'll be able to actually do stuff during the day. I might be more interested in like hanging out and doing stuff more often instead of like oh yeah, I'll do it twice.
Yep.
I'm gonna go take not this weekend. I need to sleep. It's sleep, okay? You just
Yes.
trust me, okay, little buddy?
The night shift stuff isn't that bad. I happen to really like being out and about at night.
I don't mind. Like I said, I don't mind the night shift. It's just my body has like I can go to bed during the day, but I haven't fully adjusted to doing that. And I feel
Yeah.
like by the time that I have fully adjusted, I'm more that by the time that I fully adjust to doing all that, I might get switched back over to the day shift. Like when I'm like, okay, you know what? This is no longer an issue. I'm good.
See, being in the
What do
army
you
for
mean?
6 years, I have this fucking horrible issue where if I'm not doing anything for too long, I fall asleep. And sleep schedule doesn't fucking really mean shit to me.
I mean, fair, yeah.
And
But
DC really reinforced that.
I'm a normal person and I'm not in the military, so
Yeah, no, just like your
it's a different
job would
perspective.
probably kill me. I would hate it.
I mean, I have stuff to do while I'm there, so it's not like I'm literally doing nothing. It's just the part that's rough is just like mainly it's like the lead up to it. It's like it'll be like 10 o'clock at night. Everyone's going like if I was talking to anybody on like Discord or whatever, they're going to bed. So I'm just sitting there for a couple hours. Gets closer, it's like 11:30, and I'm like, do I really need to go to work?
I would do shit like I would like every radio check, I would do 20 air squats. Anytime I died in my game, I would do like 10 push-ups. The entire building would be fucking spotless by the time my team got up. The rest of my team got up and shit. Like I can't sit fucking still. Otherwise, I would absolutely fall asleep.
I know whenever we get to a point at my job where we can't kind of just sit around and do not a whole lot, I'm pretty much planning on using that time to go through my game backlog because I have a lot of games I've been planning on playing. I just haven't really had the opportunity to because it's like, oh yeah, I want to play this game. It is a story-based game and it's going to take 20 plus hours to complete. Oh, I want to play this game. This game is over 100 hours because it's fucking Persona. Oh, I want to play this game. Guess what? This one's also going to take a long ass time because it's freaking Metal Gear.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, whenever we get some downtime, finally, I'm probably going to go through and at least play a lot more of these story-centric games because I'll have like nothing else to do for most of the day.
So, Josh, are you hitting the gym every time you get off of work, or?
Just about.
I'm very proud of you. So proud of you.
Mondays I usually don't Mondays I don't because sometimes we have meetings, sometimes we don't, and the meetings can go kind of long. And by the time I get out and have the opportunity to say like get home, it'll be like 10 o'clock, and at that point it's like, well, I just want to go try to get some sleep then.
Yep.
But on pretty much any other day, if I'm not staying late, helping either load a truck or doing some other shit, then I'll go to the gym for usually about somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how long it takes me to go through the exercises I have planned for the day.
I'm very proud of you. Now, if only I could get John to go to the gym with me. John.
I legit think either homeboy just left his computer or he fell asleep. Or he's intentionally not answering.
I'm actively ignoring what Scott's going for right now because it doesn't apply.
John. Fucking motherfucker just wants to stare at his computer and do his money-making schemes and not spend time with me at the gym.
Well, I also do valuable research, like the thing I DM'd you from a previous topic that you've just ignored.
You DM'd me. My bad.
He's paying attention.
Coronavirus travel restrictions. Let's take a look at this.
There's a picture there that's the main thing. You made a false statement earlier.
This guy's spreading misinformation.
Yeah.
Shoot him.
John's fact-checking me.
Good.
He said that Japan is still closed to travel, but as of October 11th of this year, they opened up for foreign travel again.
Oh my gosh, October 11th, a whopping month ago. Please excuse me for the misinformation. Please excuse me for the misinformation. They've been closed for like 2 fucking years.
And now they're open.
But yeah, it's like, I started going back to the gym. The one thing I noticed, and this is the part that like makes me like kind of sad. My leg and back muscles are still pretty much almost entirely there. It's just all upper body that is pretty much gone. Because like I'd go there and start doing arm workouts, and I would be struggling with stuff that I was able to do last time. But meanwhile, I can still go and like fucking almost max out like the leg press and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, well, I guess I kept some of my muscles. It's just all on the lower half of my body.
Josh retained his wagon.
I don't even have that much of an ass. It's just
you really
fat.
Don't. You really don't.
The only reason why I have an ass is because of fat.
I'd like to hit the gym with you sometime. Actually, both of you. We should do like weekends.
Well, Tuesday, 9 a.m. I'll see you there.
I'm at work, Josh.
That's unfortunate. I'll see you there.
I want to go to the gym after the podcast. You want to go then?
Probably not, because I'm gonna probably go and double check, make sure I got everything ready for D&D tonight.
You're a hoe.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's just what I was planning on doing. I was probably gonna do that, and then if I have everything good, I was probably gonna go and coax Johnny into playing some Monster Hunter with me.
Lame.
Yeah. You know, you could join us, Scott.
No, I think I actually own the game.
Yeah, I know. You own World. You played it like exactly once, I think.
Yeah, it ran like fucking trash on the old rig. It probably would run wonderful on my laptop.
Yeah, because you have World. I was gonna say the biggest thing is, and this is my biggest gripe, and like pretty much everyone else's biggest gripe with it. The way that you do like stuff, quote unquote, co-op in the game is you have to first go into whatever like main mission that you're doing, see the cutscene for it before you can let other people join you. It is really fucking dumb. But I also really enjoy the game, so honestly, I didn't care that much.
All right. Well, are we ready to wrap?
Yeah, it's been just over an hour, so.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, thank you guys for joining me. And we'll have to get in the habit of doing this a little bit more often.
Hey, Dwayne.
I enjoyed the conversation.
Oh, I enjoyed you.
I also like the idea of John's mom in the zombie apocalypse and John being a drag queen / white rapper. Well, pseudo white rapper, Asian rapper, Asian zing. I love it.
Asian zing.
Too bad none of these things will ever come to be.
Yeah.
Come on, John. Be Asian zing.
John will never be a rapper.
I am far too boring for the scenarios you put me through.
Still would be funny.
All right, now, John, you have to tell the bot to stop now.
Nah.
Tell the bot to stop, man.
The bot's just going to continue recording.
Make the bot stop.
Can't you literally click the button that says stop recording below where the where it says that it's recording? Like,
oh shit, oh shit. I wonder what happens when I click it.
Do it, bitch. You won't.
It won't let me.
It tells you no.
It told me no.